close medical doctors in the last 2 months.
What?
So it's tough.
Doc, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yo, I was looking at the numbers now. We're sitting at over 10,000 Ks.
Yeah, yes. Good afternoon, Councillor Mpifo.
Afternoon, Speaker.
Afternoon, dear. You are most welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are happy to see you.
Hello, Councillor.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hi.
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 Let me put the name nicely and say Councillor before your name, so that people know we're not talking of an ordinary person here. Councillor.
It's Friday. Then it was Monday. And then it was okay. Today is Wednesday.
Good afternoon, Councillor Khumalo. Good afternoon, Councillor Khumalo.
She still has a mic off. Let me try and unmute her.
Thank you, Speaker. How are you? Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Councillor.
Afternoon. How are you, colleagues?
Councillor.
Good, and you?
Hello. All right, thank you.
Ntaka, can you see your red glasses again today?
Where are they? Oh, there we go.
All right.
Doc, why are you putting me on the spot? And I'm with this guy.
Oh, okay. That's the benefit of working from home. Okay, it's 4 o'clock, madam.
It's 4 o'clock. I think, and how many? We have 8 guests. Who is missing? Ntlaga, who's not here? Councillor Khumalo, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you? Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm well.
I heard you took long on your interview.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I joined the late, but I made it on time. Yeah, it took a little bit longer than I anticipated.
Yes. Can you
Madam Speaker, we are missing MMC for transport. And she says she's joined though. I've joined and I'm alone. That's strange. Okay, I'm going to try and
there's somebody with Galaxy S9. Do we know who?
No, I don't. I'm not sure who that is. Let me just ask. And then Councillor Mwabi as well should be in. She was joining a couple of minutes ago. Councillor Mnisi is having a bit of a challenge in terms of connecting. So maybe if we can just give it 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I can sort out the MMC as well. Let me quickly give her a call.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm also going to disappear for just 2 minutes. I'll be back.
Okay, Councillor Mpho.
Thank you.
Doc, can we check the Galaxy S9?
Yes, I'm sending
Oh,
The Galaxy S9 is Councillor Mwabi. She's struggling to unmute herself.
Okay, let me.
Councillor Mwabi.
Yes. Okay, Councillor Mnisi is in as well. We're just missing the MMC. Councillor, you are in the meeting.
I think she didn't do the sound thing, so she may need to go back and come in again and switch on the sound. Councillor Mwabi. She did not enable the sound.
Please give her a call, Ntlaka.
Okay, madam.
Just give her a call to enable the sound.
Property.
Good afternoon, Councillor Mnisi. Afternoon and welcome, Ma.
Let me try and unmute her. Yeah, she can hear you now, speaker, Councillor Mnisi.
Councillor Mnisi.
Okay.
Afternoon, Ma.
Okay. Afternoon, how are you?
Good,
Do you hear
thanks.
me?
Well, yes, we can hear you. Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
Hi, Councillor.
I see Councillor Mwabi is on. Are you able to speak now, Councillor Mwabi? Mwabi,
She still has not connected the sound.
the audio.
Yeah, she hasn't connected the audio.
Please switch on your audio, Councillor Mwabi. Switch on your audio.
She can't hear us, so Sipo must just send on track. I must send a message to her.
Okay, will do.
Okay.
Okay, there's Nwabisa.
No, she's
Who's
from my
Nwabisa?
office. She's from my
Okay.
office. Yeah.
All right. Mama Wabi, are you okay? No, she can't hear.
Madam Tlaka is phoning her. So I don't know if you want to proceed, maybe, and then she'll just join us
Yes.
as we are already starting, madam.
Yes, I think we should proceed, and Tlaka should also check where Councillor Makhubu is. Yeah, we're missing Councillor Makhubu as well. But I think we should proceed. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Women's Month. Welcome to the show. Before I start with my opening, let me just indicate that the show is streaming live. We are on different social media platforms live. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, and the show is streaming live. So I'm also greeting our followers on those social media platforms, and we apologize for starting 8 minutes past the scheduled time. We normally start on time, but because we are in a new normal, so sometimes technology delays us. We really apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 is the single most dominant theme in our lives. Kulo nyaka ka 2020. It has affected the way we live, the way we work, the way we socialize, the way we connect, and it has had a profound effect on cultural practices, ladies and gentlemen, as which we see even the way we now bury our loved ones. It's now different. It's no longer the way we used to do our funerals, for example. We are faced with the reality of COVID-19 every time we switch on our televisions, every time we listen to radios, every time we read newspapers, we go to shops, we go to work for those who are still working away from home. Over the past months, the number of those who have contracted the virus has been rising sharply. But just last week, in his briefing, Minister Wetu, Honorable Zweli Mkhize, stated that once there was recently a plateau seen in some provinces, the real risk of experiencing a second wave of corona cases remains. So containment measures must not be abandoned. We should keep on observing the regulations. There was a time when we used to see and hear of deaths from afar, but now the virus hits close to home, as most of us have either heard of somebody that we know who has contracted it and even experienced loss of a loved one and or a friend due to having contracted the coronavirus. And true to the spirit of fear and anxiety, ladies and gentlemen, we note with concern the rise in stigmatization of those who have been infected with the virus. And one of the main reasons for today's show is to continue on our quest of educating or creating awareness and destigmatizing COVID-19. And so today, I am honored to be joined by very important guests on the platform. These are formidable women who serve in the City of Johannesburg Council. They have been open enough to share their journey with COVID-19, of which I truly appreciate, and will go a long way, ladies, in creating hope for our communities. We will touch on the symptoms experienced by counselors, how they self-isolated, what methods or treatment they used towards healing their bodies. We will also talk about stigmas attached to COVID-19 that the counselors may or may not have experienced. We look at what helped them get through the experience from a mental point of view and the importance of awareness around the issue of COVID-19 as counselors who are my public representatives. And it is our role as counselors to create awareness. The discussion will also look at how the counselors managed to navigate the dynamics in the home. We as women are usually the primary caregivers towards our children and in the home in general. And so I'm interested to know how this role was affected and what this meant and has taught them. Without further ado, I am very happy and appreciate to be joined by, I see, Councillor Makuba Nontlantla, MMC for Transport, has managed to join the meeting. I'm also joined by Councillor Ntombi Khumalo. They will also introduce themselves as they speak. I'm also joined by Councillor Morini Mnisi, Councillor Lerato Mpeto, Councillor Rainet Mwabi. I hope the technical challenges have been resolved. Councillor Mwabi. Ladies, I welcome you on the show. Thank you very much for joining us and for joining such an important discussion. And I wish you a very happy Women's Month indeed. Your story is important because it will educate and empower our communities. It will even inspire somebody, those who are currently going through the COVID-19 journey, those who are stressed and those who are frustrated by the disease and those who don't have hope. So this session will really assist them. I also have my co-anchor present here, my anchor and co-anchor and partner in educating our communities. We started this show at the beginning of lockdown when we were still on level 5. We started this show of empowering our communities on different issues, especially pertaining COVID-19. And I am talking about Dr. Fundile Nyati, who is also a medical doctor and is also very passionate, as I said, about issues of awareness around COVID-19. So ladies, that's that we are about today. So you will speak, but I think we are interested on you taking us through the time when you suspected you might have coronavirus. Did you have symptoms or not? And also take us through your mental health status at the time whilst you were still waiting for your results, because I'm told that that is a very difficult moment when you are waiting for your results and the anxiety that comes with that. And also, what was your immediate reaction when you got your results that you were positive? What was going through your mind? And how did you manage to self-isolate? So we will probe as we are discussing, or for the benefit of the communities and those who are following us. Thank you very much. Doc, I think there's a little bit of a problem.
No, not on my side. On my side, everything is good. It's just Councillor Muwabi that needs to, I think, get out and come back and switch on. Oh yeah, and switch on her audio, because I don't think her audio is working at this moment.
Okay. It looks like Councillor Makuba is unable to hear us. Can you hear us, ma'am?
Okay, you know, let me unmute her.
MMC?
Let me unmute her. Okay.
Okay.
Let me try and unmute her. All right. Okay. I'm just trying. I hope she's not trying on that side as well.
Martin, meeting
Yeah.
is now.
Yes. She must be on now.
Yes, I think she's on now. MMC? Are you on,
Oh
MMC?
my God. No.
I can't hear anything.
We can hear you now. We can hear you, MMC. MMC, we can hear you. Speaker,
Yes, Doc.
please try and address MMC. I could hear.
MMC Makuba, can you hear now? No, she can't hear us. Check your speakers, MMC. Check if your speaker is enabled. And Tlaga, can you phone MMC to check her speaker phone?
All right, madam, I'll call her.
Yeah, because sometimes your speaker phone might be off because we can hear her. Okay.
Speaker,
Thank you
I
very much.
can't hear anything. I can't hear you.
Okay, Tlaga, please call her.
I'm calling her.
Okay.
Hi, Saga. I can't hear. I can't hear anything. Must I log out again?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, councillors. I think now it's introduction. Maybe let's start with Councillor Lerato Mpefu. Just introduction and maybe try to take us through your journey in brief, then we will discuss. We're closing the session at 5:30. Okay, she is muted, Doc.
Which one is that?
Lerato
Okay,
Mpefu.
I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Awesome.
hear you now. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Awesome.
you. My name is Councillor Lerato Mpefu. I'm a ward councillor in Midrand for Ward 112. My journey, I think I started with just a normal flu, which I thought I could just treat myself because generally over the years, I'm one person that's never been hospitalized. I don't have any underlying issues. And normally, even in a year, I don't go to the doctor, even for a flu. When I feel like I'm catching something, I would normally cook my garlic, ginger, lemon, and honey mixture and drink that. And if I catch it earlier on, then I will get rid of whatever it is that's trying to attack my body, and then I'll be out of it. So with this COVID now, when I started, I did the same. It was about a week, and I could see that I wasn't really getting better. The days were not the same. It was on a Monday when I started. Tuesday, I started with a cough. Wednesday, the cough was really bad that I couldn't sleep that night. Thursday, I used Vicks to rub my chest and my shoulders with Vicks and Vaseline, and I steamed and I drank met lemon, and I slept so well that I thought I didn't need to go to the doctor anymore. Surprisingly, I canceled the doctor appointment on Friday. Saturday, I couldn't taste anything. I remember I was eating chili and I could not taste the chili at all. And I thought, you know what, something must be wrong. Sunday, I started now with chest pains and shortness of breath. And then I knew that I had to go see the doctor. This flu, needs some antibiotics. So I consulted a doctor. She asked me if I could taste, I could smell. And I said to the doctor, well, funny enough, now that you asking me, I think I can't smell as well, but definitely taste is not there. Chest pains, and also I'm struggling to breathe sometimes. So the doctor said, go and test. And you actually do have COVID, I think. She said she thought I had COVID and that I had probably maybe been through the worst and I was healing, but I must go and test. So I went and tested. It was a Monday. So now it's the following Monday. I went and I tested, went home, and I decided, you know what, let me just stay at home and try and treat myself. She had given me antibiotics, zinc, which she said was good for COVID. And I was taking vitamin D, C, and E as well. And yeah, I was staying at home, waiting for the results, because then I don't know what my position is and I wanted to be responsible, so I don't give it to other people. So I stayed home. Wednesday, I got my results. When I got my results, I think there was a bit of panic. But lucky for me, my colleague, who's also on the show, Dr. Ntombi, Councillor Ntombi, gave me a call and said, I heard that you have COVID. I've been living with it as well, and don't be scared and all that. So I think her call actually helped me sleep better, because all those other nights I've been surviving and I was not sure if it was COVID. But now knowing that I have COVID for sure, did affect me a little bit. So it did help me to get that call. You speaking, speaker?
No.
Okay. All right. So yeah, getting that call was really helpful. The doctor had also assured me that I was going to be fine, that I was going to survive. So I tried to focus on the positiveness, you know, of what I had heard, and take care of myself as best as I could. Unfortunately for me, I stay alone. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. But it's something that really worried my parents very much. You know, my dad all of a sudden now had high blood. My mom's high blood was also high as well. They were insisting on coming to fetch me, but I refused, you know, because them being over 60 with some underlying issues, I thought, you know what, it would be really dangerous for them and that I could survive this on my own. So I had the help of neighbors dropping off groceries for me. They would do my groceries for me. If I ran out of medication, you know, my neighbors would do that. My aunt would also bring it as well. And yeah, that was me. And what I was taking for my COVID, when I saw the doctor, I took some antibiotics. I took zinc, I took vitamin D, C, and E, and I took a cough mixture because I had a cough. But then my mom sent me prednisones, some pills called prednisones, very small pills. I was desperate. I wanted to heal. So I took the prednisones as well because she said they're going to help me with the lungs. So I just took them anyway. She's not a doctor. I'm not advising anyone to take it, but I took it.
We have doctors here.
Yeah, so I took that. And amongst other things, you know, from what the doctor prescribed and what my mom advised that I take, she also sent me an asthma pipe as well, because it's something that she had used when she had flu, like over the years. And she said, it's very light. It's not going to cause me any harm. It will just only help me. I had it, but I never used it. I had lingana leaves for steaming. I had eucalyptus leaves, which a friend brought, you know, for me to cook. So I would cook it on the stove and it would just fill my house with the smell of it. I used that. At a later stage, eucalyptus, I wasn't using leaves anymore. I used oil. But when I was using the oil, I had a humidifier. So I would put on the humidifier 3 drops of the eucalyptus oil and I would just stand next to it just to smell it. And this was for the shortness of breath for me. Every time I struggled with breathing, I would either steam with lingana and Vicks mixed together in hot water with a towel over my head, or I would use eucalyptus leaves on the stove, you know, cover my head as well, or I would use the eucalyptus oil in the humidifier. I would cover my head as well. And there were some 3 exercises that I did for the lungs. And I found that when I was sleeping on my belly with my head to the side, I could breathe better than sleeping in any other position. So those were the things that I used. It took longer than I actually thought. I remember in my 12th day of isolation, and I actually started isolating longer before I got my results. In my 12th day, I felt like I was getting better. On my 13th day, all of a sudden now I've got pains again. I'm struggling to breathe. And luckily, you know, with the help of colleagues like Ntombi, who's also on Councillor Kumalo, I call her Ntombi, Councillor Kumalo, who's also now on the show, I would talk to her or I would talk to my support group. We created a support group. It was 4 of us on the WhatsApp support group. I was the only one in Midrand. The other 3 are not colleagues or anything. They're in Pretoria. I knew one. The other 2 I didn't know. So in the mornings, would WhatsApp each other. Hello, how you doing? How did you sleep last night? So we would exchange notes on how the other one is doing, whether they're getting better, they're getting worse, and give each other advice, you know, from people who have experience with this thing. So I think after my getting out of it, I still struggled with the after effects. You know, the chest pains were there sometimes, shortness of breath was also there sometimes. And I saw a physician. He did a test. He tested my lungs, my heart. He checked my heart, my oxygen levels as well, which were normal. The only thing which wasn't right was my temperature, which was a bit high, but he said it shouldn't be a concern. So from then on, I think I also started sleeping even much better. When I had the chest pains or the shortness of breath, I knew that the COVID wasn't there anymore. It was the after effects that I was struggling from. So having seen a doctor and having done these tests also helped me mentally to say, Lerato, you need to be patient with yourself. It's going to take a few weeks up to a month, like the doctor advised, to get back to normal. But what I learned is, because what I suffered the most from was the shortness of breath, and it's really scary. When I decided to get off work was when I was dealing with a water issue with Joburg Water. And when they were not fixing that issue like as quick enough for me, I found that that stress actually affected me even further. So I took the decision to get off work and get a colleague to assist with the work in my absence, and that helped. Making my bed in the morning was taking a lot out of me because I would be out of breath, and it affected the shortness of breath. So basically, my daily routine would be from getting out of bed. Well, I had to make my bed, open the windows for fresh air, make breakfast, take medication, go sit in the sun. I sat in the sun for a minimum of 30 minutes up to maximum of 2 hours or 2.5 hours. I would take a book, sit there. And then coming out of the sun, I realized that I was sweating, but the sweat was only around the chest, which was very strange for me. And I would get in the house, bath or shower, and just take off the wet clothes so I don't get from hot cold and make myself worse. So I'll take a shower, eat again, medication, just lie on the couch. So I've been lazy for almost a period of a month. But I think that helped me because I was sleeping for like 12 hours or so. But with sleeping, I started sleeping better after I saw a physician because he prescribed sleeping medication for me because I was struggling to sleep. And he said, I need to rest. That rest will help me. So I started sleeping like 12 hours or even more. And I would eat well, you know, my vegetables, my fruits, drink my lemon, garlic, ginger, onion, honey mixture on a daily basis. 2 to 3 times I would have that warm mixture, and I would have tea a lot as well. So that's the journey that I had been through to get to where I am right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mpe, for the pointers that I have taken from you, especially the after effects. I did not know, Doc, that shortness of breath is after effect. I thought maybe it happens at the beginning. Thank you very much for empowering us. There's a councillor who has numbers. If we could just know who the councillor is, 30082246. I know it's one of the councillors, but because she's also wearing a mask, I just see the number, and I know those numbers are cities numbers. If you can just give us your name so that we can name you properly. Unmute. Please unmute. Unmute her, Doc, if it's possible.
I think she's trying that side as well.
Okay. All right. Let's hear from Memorin Nisi.
Now, you can speak to her now.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma. Your name and surname, please.
Councillor Fikile Mtsamai.
Oh, yes, I can see you now. Councillor Mtsamai. Councillor Fikile Mtsamai.
Yes.
All right. We will rename you properly, ma. Councillor Nisi, please take us through your journey. Councillor Mnisi, unmute.
Okay, yeah. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, ma.
Oh, okay. Okokuqala nje, I just want to, I'm happy to testify about the attack of COVID-19 into my body, because really it was a very big challenge for me. And that day I felt like, you know, my days are numbers. Actually, COVID-19, iqale ngeyi-10, iqale ukugula ngeyi-10, which a very hard, like i-flu. Ngathi into ngathi ngiphathwa i-flu heavy kakhulu, because I was shaking and bengifila i-headache and ngizwa isifuba sami singenye indlela, but I thought that it's flu. And then ngalelo langa lelo ngakhona ukuthi ngihlale and ngikhona ukubekezela nje lo situation, and I was shaking like umuntu ongenwa amakhaza kakhulu. Kuthe ngeyi-13 I went to ngaconsulta udoctor, because that time bese ngifila ukuthi I'm becoming very weak elokhunga kubody yami, and also bese ngistarta into ukuthi ngiluze i-appetite, ngingasadli, because bekungasekho into right for mina, nokudla i-tasty ngingasayizwa, and noma ngidla nje anything nje bekungasekho right. And then I decided to consult a doctor on the 13th. But to my surprise, doctor, she couldn't even advise me ukuthi mangihambe ngiyotest for COVID-19. He just checked me and he told me ukuthi ilokhunga ingaffectwa i-flu ushe njalo, and akazange azangibeke even ilokhunga i-temperature ukuthi abheke ukuthi i-temperature yami ithini, but wanginikeza nje just ilokhunga injection and wangifaka ne-drip ngalelo langa lelo. But ilanga lalizoshona on the 13th, bengifeel a little bit better, and then ngizobuyela futhi na. Hello. Okay, ngizobuyela futhi ngelokhunga ngeyi-14, waphinda the very same treatment. Ngithe mangibuya the following day on the 15th, and then kwaba ukuthi man ukugula lokhu kuya ngokuya manje kuyangiqindezela, ngigula kakhulu manje, and somebody oye wangitshela into yokuthi mangilokhunge mangithathe ama-lemons, ngenze ngikusho ukuthi ngiphuza ama-lemon ne-ginger ne-garlic, ngenzile konke and ngastima ngenza yonke into, but kwatholakala ukuthi no, i-situation iba worse. I don't know ukuthi mhlambe lento beyenzwa because ukuthi ngine-sugar diabetes okanye mhlambe kanjani. I think mhlambe kuhlangana naloko, that's why zonke lezi zinto bezi-resista ebhodini yami ukuthi mhlambe zisebenze. And then ngeyi-15 ngaba bad kakhulu kangangokuthi sengistarta manje ukuthi ngibe ne-short breath and ngaba weak, ngikhwehlela, i-voice iyachange, ngaba nama-wheezes, ama-wheezes sound ku-chest yami, and kungenye nje indlela ngingazi ukuthi kwenzakalani kimi. And then kuye kwafika ama-neighbors kimi bezama ukungirabha, bezama ukwenza yonke into, and that time bengingasakhona ukudla and bengingasakhoni nanokuthi ngihambe, bengihamba nje just a short distance and then angisakhona ukuhamba. So kuthe ngeyi-18 umntanami and ula decide khona into yokuthi no, mama kungcono ukuthi uye esibhedlela then uzokhona ukuthola ilokhunga i-treatment. Mangifika esibhedlela baye bangichecka and kwatholakala ukuthi i-temperature yami ithi 38.9, so kwathola ukuthi i-high, and then bang-admit esibhedlela from ngeyi-18. And ngiyengaba phakathi kwama-oxygens nokukhwehlela besekuba very strong ngale ndlela bekungakhona, plus nelokhunga nomphimbo bekunama-pains kulokhunga ku-throats yami. And then baye bangifaka phakathi kwama-oxygen and bebengitreata vele ngithola ama-drip, ngithola i-injection ne-medication yoshukela, so izinto ezifana njengalezo. Ngi-enjoye kakhulu ukuhlala phakathi kwama-drip because kwanginceda ngokuphefumula. And then la i-challenge engeke ngaba nayo kakhulu i-challenge yokuthi mangizothi sichatshwa ngeyi-26
ngeyi-26 mangizo-discharge mangiqala ngiphuma phakathi kwelokhu kwama-oxygens hayi bekuyinkinga ngingakhoni ukuphefumula kahle ngingakhoni total ukuphefumula kahle and even if i-blood pressure yami ikhuphuke noshukela kukhuphuke so izinto ezifana njengalezo but udoctor uye wathi khona manje at least kufanelekile ukuthi uphile ngaphandle kwe-oxygen ukuze ibody yakho izokhona ukuthi icope because mawuhlala phakathi kwe-oxygen is going to be a problem then but was discharge ngalelo langa lelo so ukuphuma kwami nje esibhedlela ngingasogola kakhulu without oxygen just ukuphuma nje out of ilokhunga isibhedlela ngingasekho phakathi kwama-oxygen but the way i-advice ayanginikeza yona udoctor uthi efana ukuthi ngihlale ngiphila nge-breathe in ngaso sonke isikhathi and ngishintshe ne-position yokulala ukunceda ama-lungs ukuthi ama-lungs akhone ukuthi akhona ukuphefumula ngendlela e-right all the time I have to do ilokhunga i-exercise but more especially indaba ye-breathe in so into esifana njengalezo of course another challenge ekhona after soqeda ukuphuma esibhedlela i-short breath isesekhona kakhulu iyo into engathi yang-affecta even namanje but iba ngcono iba ngcono all the time I have to do exercise.
Can we request Portia Mutsipe to mute, please? Thank you. Sorry, Mamnis, you can continue.
Yeah, iba ngcono ilokhunga i-short breath makuthi ngiye ngastima then ngivele ngene estimini and then bese ngiyastima so izinto ezifana njengalezo kune-treatment abaye banginikeza yona elokhunjaneni ekliniki njengale engiyivezayo khona manje ngiyayiphuza once a day and then bese ngiphuza nama-daily supplements abanginikeze wona futhi nasesibhedlela njengalanka and banginikezile futhi ama-vitamin C ahlangene nelokhunga nezinc ukuthi ngilwele ngiziphuza zona lezo zinto ezifana njengalezo but ekugcineni u-emphasize kakhulu ngendaba ye-gym and nendaba yokuthi uhlale ngaso sonke isikhathi kumele ukuthi u-exercise i-breathe in and breathe out so that uzokhona ukuthi ukhone ukuthi uphile but enye into futhi engayazi ukuthi I don't know ukuthi mhlambe ilokhunga I don't know ukuthi i-COVID uyithole kanjani because ngiyacabanga ukuthi as njengokuthi ungumama okanye mhlambe uyi-leader endaweni la uhlala khona uba nezinto eziningi ezenzakalayo like abantu bayangena and baya-complain abanye bakuleza amaphepha abafuna ukuprova ukuthi kanjalo njalo so zonke lezi zinto lezi and also sizokhumbula ukuthi ama-officials amaningi we-housing nama-challenge ngokusebenzela ekhaya due to i-COVID-19 so mawuyi-leader eseduzane nabantu bavele basondele kuwe ba-complain so I don't know ukuthi lento ngizothi ngiyithathe phi kahle kahle but yona i-COVID-19 ikhona and futhi i-COVID-19 iyabulala so into eyenzakalayo khona manje ukuthi uthe mangiphuma i-doctor futhi also yo-advise into yokuthi i-14 days ukuthi ube ku-isolation room iqala the day u-discharge esibhedlela because besikuma-isolation room so mina bengisalelwe i-4 days eyokuthi ngilokhunge ngiyicedelezele i-14 days but ngifuna ukusho into yokuthi bekunzima kakhulu le-4 days ukuhlala ku-isolation room being a mother and uzazi ukuthi u-responsible ekhaya and being a single parent so kube nzima because zonke izinto zenzakala ekhaya and wena ngaso sikhathi leso ku-isolation room and awukhoni ukuphuma awukhoni nje ukuthi uphume nje ukuthi abantwana bangene okanye mhlawumbe abazukulu bakho bangene bakhona ukukubamba bakhona ukwenza yonke into so izinto ziba i-challenge eserious kuwe but at the end of the day sicedile ilokhunga i-14 days leyo sengiyakhona ukuthi ngihlangabezane nelokhunga nefamily yami but mina advice engayinikeza abantu ukuthi i-COVID-19 mabangayithatheli phansi i-COVID-19 to all corners zelokhunga ze-South Africa and i-attack-a wonke umuntu ayikhethi into yokuthi ubani izongena kubani and angeke ingene kubani ingena kuwo wonke umuntu nawe wena usitshela ukuthi ngeke ingene one day izokuthola i-COVID-19 so kubalekile into yokuthi masihlonipheni umthetho umthetho ama-regulations awe-COVID-19, more especially ukuziprotecta ngokuthi uvale umlomo, uprotecte, ufake imask, uwashe izandla, and wenze i-social distance ukuze sikhona ukunciphisa i-COVID-19 la sikhona. Singama-leaders lokhunjaneni endaweni esihlala kuye Protea South, mara at the end, nakuye sesabanjwa i-COVID-19 being a leader. So nabanye izolibeli babambile kanjalo. And again, ngifuna ukuthi ngichasisele kulokhunga kumphakathi into yokuthi baningi abantu ngempela sebawushiyile umhlaba nge-COVID-19. So masihlonipheni lokho and sikhona ukuthi sisindise nabanye ukuya phambili. Ngiyabonga Messi.
Yo, siyabonga kakhulu Mamnisi. Wow, yo, what a journey. I'm not going to comment so that I save time, but you have said a mouthful and scary. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much for that education. Mam Tsamai, just briefly as well.
Okay.
Mam Tsamai.
Yeah. Okay. She's okay
Thank
now.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Speaker. Dr.
Yeah, watakala ma.
Okay. Ngibingelele bonke bakhona, ngibingelele Dr. Nyathi, ngibingelele uSpeaker nama colleagues. Ufikile Mtsamayi, Ward 51 uCouncillor. Nami ngiyengaba umunye wesisulu. Isisulu se-COVID-19. Engithanda ukuxwayisa umphakathi ukuthi mawazi ukuthi i-COVID-19 ikhona, iyaphila la ngaphakathi kwethu, sohlala siphila nayo. Thina ukuze siphephe kumele sisebenzise ubuhlakani. Mina ngibonge omunye wama-colleagues wami uCouncillor Malike owangikhuthaza ukuthi masambe siyochecka. Ngenhlanhla ngihambe ngayochecka ngingenazi izimpawu. Bengenayo impawu ngiphelekezele uCouncillor sangena sobabili, masingena sobabili uCouncillor waphuma aphephile, kwaba yimina otholakala ukuthi usengene i-COVID otholakala positive. Ngaleyo ndlela kuye kwangisiza ukuthi ngihlale after 4 days kuphuma ama results, ngiconsulte uDr. Lobenye kuye wathi okay ngoba unayo impawu akukho kushoyo kodwa usunako lo igciwane leliselingenile. Okwakho ukuthi hlala ekhaya uquarantine ukuvikela umndeni nabaseduzane kwakho ukuthi bangathinteki bangangena yilesi sifo. Ngenze kanjalo ke ngahlala after 4 days ngithole wathi ngihlale for 14 days indlela bengiphila ngayo ngoba bengikhona ukupheka ekhaya sibaningi sibathathu bengihlala eroomini abantwana abahlala endlini bebangiphekela ke nomntwana intombazana epheka angilethele ukudla eroomini ngiyangaquarantine ngaleyo ndlela. Izinto bengiyiphuza ebengizidla bengibilisa igarlic, iginger, istone, ihani, ngihlanganise ngiphuze ke until kwazi kwafika namuhla ukuthi ngiphephile kunalutho. Amahlaba azange benawo, azange benalutho. Into eyake yangenza ngiyabona kusho ukuthi ngizivile ngomama uCouncillor omunye sekabekile. I-short breath icishe yangibamba ngeyi-23 ngoba ngiye ngaqala i-treatment ngeyi-10 from ngeyi-10 zikaJuly. Ngeyi-23 yacishe nje yangibamba for i-hour ngezwa nginehlaba ngaphansi kwebele ngahlula ukudonsa umoya. Then kwaba ukuthi liyathula lelo hlaba lizange lisaphinda. Ubhuti wami wezwa ngibilisela umhlonyana nensangu wathi ngihabule ngayiphuza ngakusasa kwabe kuphelile kuze kufikele namuhla ke sonke siphephile. Ngabiza abezempilo ukuthi ngicela bazochecka umndeni engihlala nawo ukuthi unjani bathola ukuthi bona baphephile. So uxwayisa umphakathi ukuthi kubalekile ukuthi uye ungalindi impawu, hamba uyohlolwa unethuba nokurecover kulula. Njengamanje ngiphile saka ngicabanga angibiki ihlaba. Yebo,
Siyabonga kakhulu. Siyabonga Councillor Mtsamayi, you have told us about another angle yokuthi ngesinye isikhathi you don't have symptoms. Wena bowukhaphe umuntu obe ne flu kanti
Yebo,
wena
kunjalo.
ongenama-symptoms uwe
Yimi
o-positive.
engigulayo. Yes.
Wow, thank you so
Yes.
much for that information. Let's
Okay.
go to Councillor Dr. Ntombi Khumalo.
Speaker, I'm in.
Oh,
Thank you.
wow, thank you very much, Mamwabi. At last, welcome. You are most welcome.
Yes, Mama.
Okay. Yes,
Welcome.
Dr. Ntombi.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Ish, yeah, I tend good greetings to all the viewers that are watching the show. So I was diagnosed with COVID on the 3rd of July, and the reason why I'd gone to test is because a few days before then I had flu, but I was fine. In fact, what was funny is that after experiencing the flu, I took everything for a flu and I was okay. There was a day after having the flu where I was spring cleaning my house, the whole of it. I was ironing, I was strong. But funny enough, the next day after that, I had my breakfast after exercising. I exercise daily. So, I'd exercised, I tried to get up off the couch and something was just heavy on my chest. I couldn't get up. As I got up, I got stuck because there was just something heavy in my chest. I sat down and, I'm a single mom. And I think this is really a great opportunity for me to share how people can deal with, a situation where they test positive and they are the only adult in the house. So I've got two children. One is 9 years and one is 3. And it's just me and them in the house. And I remember trying to get up and my son, and I couldn't help it. As parents normally, or as women, we try and keep things inside and, you try and be strong for your kids. You don't want your kids to see that you're hurting, sinjalo, as abazali, especially abasmam. So as I got up though, I couldn't help it. And my son was sitting, in the living area and he's, Mommy, are you okay? I said, yeah, no, I'll be fine. But I think even he could see that, no, I'm not fine, So he said, Mommy, must I Google something? Must I Google what you can take for a chest and something? And and the reality is, being a mom and having young kids that don't really understand, it was very scary for them. But I had to, sit down and say, okay, I'm not feeling well. Let me just gain my strength. He started Googling and stuff and telling me I need to take this and that at 9 years old. But nonetheless, I think the mistake I made that I need to share is, sometimes we think we know too much. Well, not that I do, but I honestly thought, this chest pain, it felt similar to ulcers. So I thought that's what I have. I'm dragged myself, as painful as my chest was, went to Clicks, got myself, ulcer medication, and I thought, no, I'll be okay. But the rest of the day, I didn't come right. The next day, I woke up and I decided, you know what? I can't, then I realized I can't smell. So, I can't taste. This flu seems to be back. And I thought to myself, I spoke to a colleague and they told me about a lab that operates on a 24-hour basis. So if you go very early in the morning, you'll get your results same day. I went there because I have kids. So I was very worried that, I might make my kids sick, and my daughter has a chronic lung condition as well. So I was very, very, worried. So I quickly went to go test, got my results that evening. And I think, one of the hardest things is to know that you are sick, and having seen the news and following and seeing how many people are actually losing the fight against COVID. And which brings me to another, experience or something important that I think I want to share is that for me and my experience, I think one of the biggest things about COVID and beating this virus is really in the head. We need to get our mental, psychologically, you need to be in the right space. You need to be positive. If you're going to concentrate on how many people are losing the battle, it's not going to do you a favor. I also think trying to figure out where you got it. I mean, I remember, when I told, and, once you get your results, you obviously have to tell people you've been in contact with at least a week before the day you test positive. So when I was speaking to people, everyone is like, oh no, but you don't even, I've got colleagues when we distribute food and things like that, they, sometimes you're tempted to hug, and I would say, no, don't touch me. So people would generally say, and I'm like that, I'm a freak. I'm very particular. I'm very mindful generally with everything. So people are like, oh, you should be the last person to get COVID. How did you get it? Where did you get it? And I made up my mind that I wasn't going to try and point a finger at anyone because it wasn't going to help me. and there was no way I could figure it out. Instead, it would just, be a burden on my mind, which I didn't actually need at the time. So things I did around the house. So, and in terms of my experience, so I experienced the chest pains. I got in touch with my doctor, got medication, got on my supplements, and I generally take supplements, and I exercise. And I really think that's probably what helped me not to land up in hospital, because I really did struggle. I had almost all the symptoms COVID brings, and every other day almost was like bringing another symptom. So it's really a difficult journey. And hence I say you need to be strong mentally. It helped me to speak to a colleague who had been through it as well, who we work with in the city. So it really helped me. But diarrhea I experienced, struggling to breathe I experienced, headaches I experienced, and up to today I still struggle now and again with headaches. I struggled with body aches and fatigue. So I really kind of went through the full throttle, loss of smell, loss of taste, and all of that. But I just want to share things that I think are tools for people, especially moms and women who are running households, if you do find yourself in a situation like this. So first and foremost, I obviously have to continue following the protocols, and I'm fortunate enough to have my own bathroom, my own room, so I can literally divide the house. You guys live that side, you watch your TV there, I can watch mine this side. But I think what's important is to make sure that you're not sharing common spaces. So you're not sitting and watching TV with everyone else like normal during family time, nibugeli TV. You don't do that anymore. You have to cut that out. I think as Mam Mutsamai Begashilo, you live in your room, and that's the reality. So being the only adult in the house with small kids, I had to make sure that I keep them protected. So every time I had to see them, because I still feed my little one, I had to wear a mask, wear gloves, wear face shield, and I would wear an apron as well. So to make sure that there's little risk as possible of me transmitting it to my daughter. So a mask, a face shield, gloves, and an apron, and I make sure that we sit fairly, far apart. I just stretch my hand to feed her, etc. So that was very important, especially because I knew she's a high risk, because she's got a chronic lung condition as it is, and she's so small. So they used paper plates, disposable things, spoons and things they use, and they throw in the dustbin. Because if they had to use the normal things we use in the house, I would have to be the one touching and washing it and dishing for them there. So it would increase risk. So I think that's something else that I did, that I think sharing for moms that don't have anyone else to help them. So not sharing and obviously following the protocols. And I think one of the most important things for this journey is a strong support structure. I cannot stress how important it is to be able to know that you've got people that are backing you up. It breaks my heart. I still get messages on Twitter and Facebook, because I went public and I've been sharing, all the knowledge that I have to help people. And somebody SMS'd me and said, Doc, what do I do? I've tested positive. How do I tell my family? Because Tina Lindley, COVID is like, some demon, that's how generally the attitude is in their family. And now this guy has found out he's got COVID and he doesn't know how to communicate it. And so I think platforms like this speaker are important, where we share our experiences to take away the stigma out of this virus and this illness. And to also, so I told the guy, be the change in your family that needs to happen, especially with this particular COVID, because if you're going to be scared to tell them, you're going to have the pressure to continue as normal in the house, and you then run a risk of infecting your family members, and you have no idea how they will react, because some people really get very ill. Some people catch it and they don't even know. And for all you know, you could have caught it from one of your family members who's not, displaying symptoms. So we really need to share and talk about these things. For me, what helped me the most as well, I'm a woman of faith. I do pray a lot and I believe a lot in that. And I think it is a time as a human being where perhaps it is an opportunity for you to really tap into your faith and really, take strength and refuge in whatever it is you believe in. It doesn't have to be God, but a greater power. So that really, really assisted me a lot. And obviously resting is also very important, Speaker and everyone watching. Eating right, making sure you're eating right. I'm not going to repeat the supplements and everything because I think people have, highlighted the supplements that need to be taken, etc. But at the heart of it, as much as we share our experiences to prepare people in case they do find themselves in situations such as ours, I think the biggest message I want to, preach is, supporting each other, sharing information, taking away from the stigma. But most importantly, don't wait until you're sick. Take your supplements. It's very important. So supplements are not a cure. They're not a medication. They are there to only support your body to be better equipped to deal with certain things like illness or any other health conditions. But Speaker, I want to try and cut myself short because I can talk a lot, especially about things around healthcare, which I'm very, very passionate about. But I think prevention is better than cure. I cannot stress how important it is for people, like Maureen was saying, to follow the protocols that are in place, but most importantly, eat right. Eat the right foods. We know that there's this pandemic, so it's even an added reason why you should be eating right. It's an added reason why you shouldn't be overindulging in alcohol. It's an added reason why you should be exercising like you should. All of us should be exercising. And so when I do talk to people, when I share, now and again, when I post, I try and show, the kind of food you need to eat. I post about my food. It's not to show off, but it's really to try and encourage people to eat their vegetables, to eat their fruit, and healthy eating is not expensive. I get people that say, oh, but it's so expensive. There's a Joburg market, which the city has, and I buy my stock there. I buy from Kerk Street, and the vegetables are very fresh. They're very healthy. I'm healthy. But I just really want to, preach the method around prevention as opposed to waiting until you're ill. It's good that we share what people can do, but I also think we need to focus the message around prevention, following the protocols, but preparing your body. Take supplements even before you're sick. Exercise is very important. And exercising doesn't mean you must run 10 kilometers. You stay in your house with a skipping rope for 5 minutes a day. It's enough, but you've got to focus on doing things that get your body to be in a stronger position to fight any diseases or illnesses that you might come across. So yeah, I think, Speaker, I can talk a lot, but I think in terms of drinking anything special, I think umhlonyana, which I drank, and not part of the medical regime per se, because there are medications that have the umhlonyana in it. So yeah, but I did drink it in the form of tea as well. And I really want to encourage everyone out there to stay positive. I think you need to remind yourself when you go through this, because it's hard to be positive when you're sick. Someone could look at me and say, yeah, it's easy for you because so ndlulile, but it wasn't. But I had, because of my background, academic and a strong experience in research, I literally had to force, tame my mind to say, Ntombi, there are more people recovering from COVID than there are people that are losing the battle. Why when uzoba scared ukhethe ukuthi wena uzofa? Khetha ukuba kuleya number. So that's what I want to encourage everyone going through this, that think positive, think to yourself, why must I automatically think Nzofa? It's not a death sentence. There's more people that are winning this battle than there are people that are losing this battle. And so for me, I think, the prayer, keeping positive, and making sure that you're taking the advice that you're being given and protecting those around you. Isolating is so important. I think part of the reason is this stigma that this virus has, that we keep seeing numbers going up because people are scared to speak about it. People are scared that they themselves are the demon, If I say, then people are not going to treat me, they victimize you and stuff. And so people find out and they carry on with their normal lives. And hence the spreading is just carrying on and on and on, because there's a stigma and people don't want to say, mina ngiyagula, angize emngcwabeni kazibanibani, mina ngiyagula, angizi ini. And it's unfortunate, Speaker, when you opened, you did say that things have changed. We don't go to funerals. We would want to go to funerals because people are prioritizing family members. We don't hug people anymore. And those are elements of being human that we all so much long for. Sometimes I also feel like, oh, I wish I could get a hug, but you can't. And that's the reality. I remember telling my mom, ngoba uhlale lokishini, for example, in a township, abo mama, makumalo yamemezu mama next door mngani wakho, makumalo, hayi bayaphuma sebayaxoxa. I had to say to my mom, this thing has gotten us to a point where we do feel like as we are losing ubuntu nyana, but not so much. And I told her, you have to lock the gate. Umuntu angavela zingenele, because akangena uyabamba lelo gate angene. Wena nina keep it dustbin uyabamba leyo gate. And remember, this virus on steel or on metal, it lasts longer as well. So uzokusasa wena uvuke ekuseni umazi banibani bekazila vakashile. So lock. If it means you have to talk to people from outside when abangaphandle, then that's what you must do. And it's unfortunate ngoba asikho njalo as abantu, especially abantu abamnyama mhlawumbe, because ngiyakwazi ukokota next door ngisho ukuthi hey makhumalo into so, and that's how it is ekhaya, that's how it is. And my mom's house is like the community go-to place when you have a problem kind of thing, And I had to say to my mom, unfortunately, these are the times. And yes, we feel bad. And when we feel, it's not nice to do that, but I just want to say to people, let's not take these adjustments that we have to make personally. All of us have to make it. And it's not personal, but it's actually to protect each other. So I think I'll stop there without going on too much. But I would love, I could take a day talking particularly around nutrition as well, what you need to eat, etc., because that is an area of great passion for me. But thank you so much for the opportunity, and I really commend the city to have taken such an initiative to try and educate people, raise awareness, and encourage people to really look after themselves, and particularly those around them. Thank you so much, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ntombi Khumalo. That was so informative. And, Doc, that actually challenged me to say, we need to have another session. Because you still find a lot of people, you still find a lot of people hanging around in the townships, hanging around in the informal settlements. So people think without wearing masks. People think this is still far. You still get such people. I think we need to take this discussion further.
Excuse the Speaker, but people njengobusho emalokishini ngathi uzenza ngcono ungafuna ukuthinta abantu ngathi manje uzenza ngcono, but we need to talk more so that we all actually get on this boat yokuthi hayi no asingathintani vele,
Yes.
So yeah, you're right, because people still hang around the car wash like nothing's different, because that's the way sijwayele ukuba ngakhona. And if you arrive at the car wash and with your shoulder, it's like, hey uzenza ngcono ngoba uphuma kuphi kuphi, or hey uzenza ngcono. But we need to, I just want to agree with you even more. Sorry, Speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me inform the panelists here that this discussion is so important in such that it is a lead story. It's a lead story Gukaya FM News today. So it is very, 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 and we are going to hear from comments from our viewers as well. Let me go to MMC Makuba. MMC, please share your stories as well and your journey.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I would like to greet all my colleagues present. My journey started on the 28th of June. I had a visitor, when Dr. Khumalo was speaking, I realized that we are like sharing the same sentiments, because in my home, I lock the gates. And ever since this thing started, I lock the gates because, when we are told stay at home, some of us do not understand that. We want to still come and visit. But it happened this one day that I opened the gate that day for a colleague that I had not seen for a very long time, who came, sat with us that Sunday afternoon. After he left on Monday, I discovered that he had tested that Monday, he had tested COVID-19 positive. And for the mere fact that we had shared the whole afternoon with him, in the house. So I phoned the city's health department, and then they said, yes, the whole family has to be tested. So we had to wait for 7 days after that, because we were told if we test immediately, we might receive a false negative result. So we had to wait for 7 days. So waited for the 7 days. On the 7th of July, the city officials, health officials came to the house, and they checked, they screened everybody, and then they said I was the one who had to be tested because of my age, of being over 50 and being on chronic medication. So I had to be tested. So I was the only one who got tested. And then on the 21st of July, my results came back and I was COVID-19 positive. So it is the same as Councillor Mutsamai. I did not have any signs. I started self-isolating from the time when I realized that we might have had contact with a person who is positive. We might have received positive results. So self-isolate endlini. Fortunately for me, I've got my own cottage outside, and the other members of the family stay in the same yard but at a different building. So we started self-isolating that time until my results came on the 21st. Then I was advised that I should continue with the self-isolating as from the date of results. So I continued for another 14 days. And what I was taking at that time was the vitamin C that the other councillors have spoken about. I said, as much as I don't have symptoms, but I will still, take these because it's just vitamin supplements, and I think they are good for everybody. So I took the vitamin C, I took the vitamin D and zinc. I also took Slowmac for cramps and body aches. I also drank umhlonyane as tea. I had a concoction that I had mixed lemon, cucumber, ginger, garlic, and honey, and moringa tea. So we were taking that, the whole family was taking. Everybody in the morning before breakfast, they were taking a cup of that. So I also learned from other colleagues who tested positive before me, where they advised Guti, whatever you eat, it must be warm food, not cold. And whatever you drink must be warm, not cold. So also, that's 20 minutes that you have to sit in the sun every day. You have to sit outside the sun every day for 20 minutes. And over and above that, I was also taking ACC 200 because really I've got a problem with sinus generally, naturally. So I was taking that together with Calcium Vita. I just want to touch at 14 days not showing any symptoms until to the end of my 14 days. But what I want to say is that I want to just reiterate some of the points that Councillor Dr. Khumalo said. We have a problem with stigmatization of this thing. I think abantu bethu needs to be made aware ukuthi to be positive of COVID-19, akusona stigma. It's not something that you did that made you to have COVID-19. And just to follow the regulations that are given to us around COVID-19 would really assist us. Things like staying at home will really assist us, and go out if you really have to. And this thing of people who have tested, abangakathola ama results, and they start moving around, that is another dangerous matter. Because you have not received your results, you do not know whether you're positive or negative. And by the time you visit a friend, and then tomorrow you discover that you are positive, then it means all those people are contacts. And now they must be traced for them to be assessed also. Ukuthi they don't have the stigma. The COVID-19 pandemic. And I want to say to you, Speaker, another issue is now kunabantu aba on chronic medication. Those people must not stop taking their chronic medication just because there's some things that they're taking for COVID. They must continue taking their chronic medication. And if you can't collect your medication at clinic because you're not feeling well, send somebody. They will never chase that person away. Send somebody to go and collect for you. It is very important that as we drink imhlonyane senzani, if ngazi ukuthi I'm on high blood tablets, I must make sure I don't run out of my medication. So, Speaker, that was my journey. Engakusho as umama, it is very difficult. Whereas some of us are grannies. When you are used to having your grandchildren with you all the time in the afternoon when you come back from work, and all of a sudden you are in the house the whole day, but you can't see them. You know, it is so sad. They would stand on the window and knock at the window, say, Gogo, hello, Gogo, how are you, Gogo? You know? Then it was something true, and I want to understand how difficult it is ukudila nale situation esibhekane nayo. And apart from that, I had young kids who are young, and I also have those that are grown-ups and who were taking very good care of me. And because I had my own bedroom, I had my own bathroom, but they made sure I got food when I was supposed to take whatever tablets I wanted to take. I could eat first. They were checking on me, Guti, what is it that you need, Mama? And I would send them to the shops and to get whatever I feel I wanted to have. So I really did have the support. And I do understand that it is a challenge for other people who do not have people that they are living with and who can be able to assist them. But I want to thank the Speaker for the opportunity and to say to our people, this is akulona ihlazo ukutesta positive with COVID. Akulona ihlazo. So if you have tested positive, fight for ukuzisindisa ukuphila. Fight for, do the right things. Do the right things, the things that they're telling us, like washing our hands and not hugging, like Councillor Khumalo was saying. Let's do those things. And we must understand when we live, when we no longer do the things that we used to do before, or anything, but it is because of the situation that we are finding ourselves in. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, MMC. Thank you so much. You spoke about sinuses. I hope my baby sister is listening because she's also a person with sinuses. So now she knows that when she is positive, she can use CC200 and the things that you have mentioned. Thank you very much for that information. I remember talking to you the other day. You were so busy with your work, but I guess it was before you got infected. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Councillor Moabi. Doc, I might, when I receive that call, you will have to take over the sharing, but I will indicate. Thanks. Councillor Moabi.
Speaker, thank you very much. And I'm greeting all the listeners, the viewers of this program. It's really an eye-opening program because this COVID-19 comes in different ways. As a granny, as a mother, and a granny who's over 60 years, it is always said the ones that are over 60 are the ones that are dying. So I have recovered being over 60. how I knew that I am positive, I lost sense of smell. Ne ke sa kgone go nkgelela anything dijo. And apparently I also lost the sense of taste, because a normally salted meal was like, you know, it is too salty for me. When I drink tea in the morning, I drink a coffee with 1 level teaspoon and no milk. But one day, this level teaspoon is like my daughter added 10 teaspoons of sugar. That's how I realized that something is wrong with me. I did not have any chest pains. I did not have any high temperature. I did not, have diarrhea or shortness of breath. I was just normal. The only 2 things, and the major one was this loss of smell. I decided to go to the doctor. In fact, I started to a public clinic. I was screened and I was told, no, you don't suit the criteria to be tested. Then I decided to go to a private doctor, and the private doctor tested me, and the results came that I've tested positive of COVID. I had to disclose to my kids. In fact, I told them that I'm going to test because of this problem of losing sense of smell. And then when the results came, I informed them immediately. There was quietness in the house. It was like I'm going to die, because my daughter started, like crying, and my sister also. I said, no, I'm okay and I'm going to survive this. But fortunately, on top of that, we started, in the whole family, we started drinking vitamin C. When they just told us about COVID, we started vitamin C. And now that it was about to be winter, unfortunately in the yard, I planted lengana. What do you call it? Mhlonyane. Mhlonyane, it has been there for years. Every time we have flu or flu-like symptoms, we cook, we drink it. So fortunately, it was in the yard, and I started drinking it like half a cup in the morning, half a cup in the evening, because I had to be very careful of what I'm taking. I did not want to take an overdose of everything that I was told to take, because biologically, I've got 1 kidney that is functioning well. But this I was born with. That's why I'm as healthy. It is used to whatever I am taking. So that's how I was doing it. And I took the leaves of Bluegum. I don't know whether you know the Bluegum. I took the leaves of Bluegum because it has eucalyptus, and I was steaming with that 3 times a day. I used to steam and feel good about that. And, with those breathing exercises as I am steaming, of breathing in and then breathing out slowly when you are steaming. And I think it worked for me. I also had a slow make with zinc, and then also took vitamin B and vitamin D. And I used to go outside to expose myself to the sunlight. And fortunately, I've got a bedroom, my bedroom, and there's a bath in it and a toilet. And I was in that bedroom all the time in fact, for 21 days, not for 14 days like it is. My daughter will cook for me, or my sister will cook for me, and put the food at the door of the bedroom. And I will take them as if nisejele,
Nice.
but it was okay. And I had a dish so that I soak after eating or drinking something, I soak my utensils in that dish with water and a jig, so that when I take them back to them, they are soaked and they wash them, and then life continues. And whenever I take off something, I had to put it in a plastic, tie the plastic, and then they will take it and put it in a machine. Is that a severe headache. I do not have a BP machine, but I suspected that my blood pressure is high. And I phoned the clinic. I was told at the clinic, most of the nurses are on isolation. And then I said, aren't you having community health workers to come and check my BP at home because I've got a splitting headache? They said, no, they cannot do that. Then I said, what must I really do? Went to the clinic, phoned the sister in the clinic that I'm at the gate. I'm requesting that I be tested for high blood pressure. The sister said, no, you won't be allowed to go into the clinic, and we are not allowed to use the BP machine on you because I told her that I am positive. You know, I had to go back home and then phone another clinic. And the sister there said, you can come, you will be in your car, I'll wear the protective clothing and check your BP. And indeed they do that and sanitize that BP machine. And fortunately my BP was normal. I went home, but I'm saying, imagine somebody who does not have a car, perhaps the blood pressure is high. A person may die because of a high blood pressure, not that it is the complications of COVID, but because perhaps one person has high blood pressure, has a stroke, and she dies. It will be taken as if that person died from COVID-19. So I'm saying these are the loopholes in our experience, in our journey, that we need to tighten up, or the gaps that we need to plug as far as our facilities are concerned in managing people that have tested positive for COVID-19. Stressful it was, I must say. You know, there was a day that I was sitting in my bedroom and saying, hey, if I sleep, am I going to wake up? I'm alone in this bedroom and I don't know what to do. I took out my will, checked the will, then I said, no, there's something that I did not indicate. Then I started writing a list. If this happened, this is what we must do. If this is how it is, you know. But, you know, prayer, as people are saying, I prayed every day and I managed to sleep. But the first 2 days, I could not sleep for 2 consecutive days. And that one was actually putting more stress on me. But I'm saying COVID-19, really, you can go through this journey and you can come out as a victor if you adhere to the protocols of isolation, strict isolation. And even if you are not positive, wash your hands, sanitize if you have to sanitize, social distancing, and no kissing, no social gatherings, no public meetings. But I'm telling you what our communities are doing, please, please, I'm begging with you. You know, when we started knowing about HIV, people will distance themselves from anybody. They wouldn't even touch or even greet that person. But now the thing that you are not supposed to do, we are doing. If we can, please adhere to protocols. we can win this battle of COVID-19. It is our behavior, our conduct that we win this battle, because the virus is there, but you carry it to take it somewhere from point A to point B. So it is very, very important, very, very important to comply. Nutrition is nutrition. You don't have to buy fancy things. Buy the ordinary vegetables that you usually buy, cook them, eat more of those vegetables, but don't overcook them. A little bit of, if you don't have meat, beans are protein. You eat beans as much as you can. I like soup, yeah, the beans. I used to, drink that and eat that soup, yeah, the beans, because it's protein. Even if I did not eat meat, it wasn't a problem. The main thing is that you have a balanced diet. And I'm advising ourselves that let's start planting those little spinaches in, those little spaces that we have in the home, the carrots, the what, and remove the grass. If you have lawn, let's minimize lawn and have our fresh vegetables from our gardens, and we will win this war. What is important again? Destigmatizing this condition. When I got my results, I informed the chief whip to inform all the councillors that I'm positive, so that whoever remembers that she or he was in contact with me for the last 10 to 7 days must start observing all these signs, and even told them what made me to go and test, which was loss of smell. And I think, opening up, it helps other people also to open up. One person phoned me to say that she lost a family member. I said, what was wrong? Was she ill or what? He said, no, he was ill. I said, you know what? I won't be able to come to you or say we will talk over the phone because I'm on isolation. I tested positive for COVID. Then after a few minutes, she dropped the phone. After a few minutes, she said, this person died of COVID-19. Then I said, please don't allow a lot of people to be coming into the house. Also declare to those people that are coming to mourn with you, to say that, the person died, but it's because of COVID-19. Others will automatically distance themselves from coming every day to your house. Then you have limited people coming there. And then it is not for you that, or you trying to be smart or what, but in fact, you are preventing other people from actually contracting this COVID-19. It wasn't an easy one. And as I reached day 7, I started, without seeing any complications, I started counting down every day. I had written the number of days and I kept on scratching them out until I'm 14 days. Then after 14 days, I phoned the doctor that I want to do a retest to check whether I'm positive or negative. And the doctor said, you'll come after 21 days and come and test. But I kept on isolating myself from the family and everybody else. And I went for testing last week, Thursday, and I tested negative. Then is when I joined the family. I came out of the bedroom. I joined the family, but we kept on distancing, complying to social distancing, even if we were in the house. Fortunately, after I tested, my sister and my daughter were tested and they tested negative. They did not contract that. And up to now, we are continuing to have the same treatment, all of us, those supplements, all of us, and continue to, try to comply. But I'm saying to the listeners out there, it is stressful, but be positive. It is stressful, but you pray and be positive that I'm going to win this battle. You feed your subconscious mind with that and say, I am going to be well. I'm over 60 and I'm well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies. Malibo.
Madam Speaker, we can't hear you. You are not audible. Doc, is it possible to unmute the speaker?
She is unmuted.
I am unmuted. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. No, I was saying, Doc, we left with two councillors on the panel. There's Councillor Tumelo Faith and Councillor Portia Mutsipe. Then we can hear from the viewers. Yes, Councillor Tumelo Faith. Thank you very much, Mamwabi. Thank you so much. You know, when you take us through your journey and you even mention the will, that you had to take your will and make sure that whatever is written there is in order before you go. I'm so happy you did go. Thanks. Thank you so much. Councillor Tumelo. Okay, I'm not sure who's Councillor Tumelo, but there's Councillor Portia Mutsipe. All right, as I welcome colleagues who are joining, maybe let's hear from Sipho. Let's hear what our viewers are saying, Sipho.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much to all the councillors, and thank you for sharing your stories. And your stories has been very inspirational indeed. Here are the comments from everyone on social media. Dimaka Tsobotselo Muleisani, councillor. He says, perhaps the next conversation should be with individuals who live with chronic health issues and how they have managed to cope and protect themselves. Also, living with a chronic illness also increases the level of anxiety. So thank you for that proposal, Councillor. I think we can look at that conversation. Karabo says, I thought you were not allowed to put your mask around your neck. I don't know who he's making reference to. Mashezi Zaba, Councillor as well, says, thank you, Madam Speaker. Rosemary Tobejani says, thank you, Madam Speaker. Really empowering us. It is very important to learn more about the pandemic and how to avoid it. Let's share this experience and knowledge. Tami Mukwena says, great discussions, and I'm following. Mamtandi Mdlalose on Facebook says, progressive discussion, very informative under the current situation. And Shane Maja says, very informative session. And Tamimu Kwena says, great discussions, I'm following. And Member of Parliament, Benny Swart says, thank you, Madam Speaker, a very good session. So those are just some of the comments, but in general, everyone's just very happy to hear the stories, and it is empowering our communities, and they are grateful for councillors for opening up for the session. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much for those comments. May I get maybe any takers in terms of, there is a comment about mask around your neck. So I think colleagues who have traveled this journey, they have been told on how to handle your mask. If maybe we can have that. I think most of the questions I had requested have been answered, but maybe if the panelists could just take us through to say, how would you like your people to know about living with this virus? I know that you're not living with the virus forever, but it is for those for those days or that short space of time. Well, it's a long space, because if I could hear from your experience, even the 14 days and beyond, it seems like it's a lot of time that you are out of space. I see Dr. Nyati, I saw your hand.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clarify the issue around the mask and on the neck. The WHO has actually advised that people should not lower their mask to the neck, because at the time when the mask was covering the mouth, if there's any infection, it could be in the area, of the neck. So if you pull it down, you're actually exposing that mask to that infection. When you pull it back again, then you could infect yourself. So rather you take it off, for that brief moment, you take it off and do whatever, drink whatever, and put it back, rather than putting it as a neck guard. So I just thought, let me just quickly, correct that.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, if I may, please, I think that might be directed to me. And I think it's important to also clarify, the doctor can also assist with this one. I'm a leader, and I need to lead by example. And I think someone that had suffered from COVID, it's not easy to breathe in a mask. Where you can, like I'm sitting alone now in this boardroom, and they cleaned it for me before I got in here. So it's important for me to be able to breathe proper air. There's no one close to me. And the reason why it's here, if you look at it, it's folded, whoever is concerned. So this is the only mask that I will put down here. When I've got the cloth one, that is not big enough, I always take it off. I'm always conscious of not touching my mask with dirty hands. I've got a sanitizer here, and I've been using it. I'm very conscious about where I touch. The mask, this is the outside of it. So when I put it back on, the inside is in two ways. It's folded like that. So it's clean, if that makes sense to people. I think it's very important to educate ourselves about this and really understand this, not be too critical. I criticize each other too much about this. This part I want to say, that 10 years ago, more than years ago, when I was a little girl, people died they did not really die of HIV/AIDS. They died because of the stigma. They died because of the fear, not opening up and talking enough about these things, and not having support from people because they were not talking about it. The minute we started getting rid of the stigma and the fear and understanding the virus, people lived now for 20 years and more. And people can be with them in the same rooms, and still protect themselves. So this mask is safe. I hope whoever was watching is understanding. I'm a leader. I also wanted to make sure that we understand, and the doc can say if I'm still wrong in doing that, and I will apologize and I will correct it, because I want to be safe, and then I want to also send out the right message to the viewers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mpefo. Actually, I'm happy that you provided the explanation that you did, because it means you thought about it, but you were not the only one who had a mask on the neck. There were about 3 or 4 other ones. I won't name them now. So, but I think the explanation that you gave was actually good, that you did not allow the part that would have been inside to be the one that is in direct contact with the neck. But anyway, thank you very much. Speaker, is she gone now? All right, there were 2 other councillors that had not, given their stories. I think it was Councillor Tumelo Faith. I'm not sure if she's I can see her here, but I'm not sure if she's able to.
Sorry, doctor, just repeat that for me, Askis.
All right, no. I was saying there were 2 other councillors who had not shared their stories. So I wanted to see if they are ready to do that, quickly. before we then find a way of consolidating, the information that was shared by each one of you at Doc.
Oh no,
Doc?
I'm covered.
Doc, can I just a quick one? Sorry, the speaker had to step out just to do an interview with Kai FM. Just quick. So if you can take over the session. Thank you, Doc.
Why don't you do that?
Doc, okay. Is Councillor Motsepe, is she here? Can she hear us?
She's here, but she's muted. Let me see if I can unmute her. Oh, wow. Okay, for some reason I can't unmute her.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, she's here. Councillor Mutsipe?
No, it's actually Coach Motsepe, not a councillor. I'm just naming the live stream. Yes.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Then there was Tumelo Faith.
I think Tumelo is a colleague in the city of Johannesburg. He's helping us to broadcast this on the city of Johannesburg's social media pages.
Oh, so she's not a councillor.
Yeah, no, it's not a councillor, no.
Okay. All right.
We are done.
Can I ask Councillor Dr. Ndombi to just, yes, she shared, but there's a lot of key information that, was shared by the rest of the councillors. Maybe the key points that were common across the people and some of the unique issues, that she picked up just to consolidate the information. For example, there's a number of people here who presented with what is sort of unusual, because we first thought that it's just respiratory symptoms, flu-like illnesses, but now we're hearing that people lost sense of taste, lost sense of smell. They may not even have had the respiratory symptoms, and yet when they went to test, they tested positive. So the point here is not everybody who has got COVID-19 disease presents with respiratory kind of symptoms. Also, Doc herself did mention that she had a bout of diarrhea, and some people may actually present with diarrhea, nausea, sometimes vomiting without any respiratory symptoms. So, Doc Ndombi, can you just, I hope you were taking some notes as other people were talking.
I listened. I'm not sure about taking notes, but I think, like you mentioned, there are common themes around. I think I need to turn the volume down. Just 1 second. Just 1 second.
All right. So whilst she's still trying to, there is.
Okay. My apologies. That was sorry. My apologies. I changed rooms. And then I found the volume much higher now. But I think, as you mentioned, there are obviously common, themes running. If you listen to the experiences, I mean, I think we pick up a number of important aspects, especially around, following the protocols that everyone has discussed. And I think, having been through this journey, or having experienced COVID, I know not all of us. I know Councillor Kuba has not had symptoms per se, but I think a lot of us, just being in that state where you realize that you've got a virus that is so life-threatening, whether you're feeling the pain or not, I think that takes some amount of mental strain on you. And I think that's one theme that does come up, is that we really need to get our mindsets right. I think not everyone has said it in those words per se, but I think it's an underlying theme that's coming up, that we need to get our heads right. I think, the issue around, not making each other feel like, oh, I'm better than that one, or I can't do this because I'm black. And those are things we need to be honest about, you know. Abantu abamnyama uyakokota next door, uboleke ukuthize, uyakokota ngalo, you know, uvakashe nje, it's not that kind of thing. And I'm glad to hear that, you know, even some of my colleagues have highlighted that, you know, also having advised my own mom to lock the gate, you know, and I'm glad to hear that, you know, people on this platform, the panelists, are also that responsible. And I think the more we share that as we are now, the more people also feel, okay, perhaps it's part of this new normal that we're going through. But obviously supplementing also, again, coming across very importantly, and also, you know, making sure that you follow medical advice. I think that's so important. I think what we can learn, even with myself and having listened to Councillor Mpefo, is the fact that perhaps, you know, at this point is different to any other year. So any other year you get a flu and you're like, no, my immune system is strong, I'm okay, I'll be fine. We are in an era where even a sneeze needs to get you to be more health conscious. And I think perhaps those are the positive things this pandemic will leave with us as a human, you know, as human beings, that we'll be more conscious of our health and take a little bit more responsibility. Like she said, she thought it was just the flu. I also thought, oh, I could self-diagnose myself. It can't be this virus for some reason. It's ulcers. So I think that's something else common that came across. You know, Maureen went to a doctor even, you know, and she was not even spoken to about getting tested for COVID. It was like, oh, you have a flu. And I think that's another, you know, theme that was coming across that we could see was coming, you know, often to say, you know, we can't know enough, or we can't be careful enough, especially with COVID. Like Mema Kuba was saying, that you can't have tested and still carry on as usual, and then, you know, only after you get the results will you stay home, because then you've exposed so many other people. So I think that particular, you know, theme is also very important to say. You can't be more careful, you can't be too careful. I think is the one thing. And I'm glad to hear that a lot of us have also shared the fact that we were resting a lot, especially as women. I think, you know, it's natural instinct to be busy when there's a mess. I mean, my house, where I've got young kids, they throw everything everywhere. It literally looks like a playground. And, you know, you get that urge, but we need to realize that even us as women, and I'm glad it's a women panel today, that we need to rest. There comes a time where you've got to look after yourself well enough so that you can look after your children, your family, at your best. Because if you're not well, you can't look after them very well as well. And I think that's what came through. And I think also Ubuntu, you know, the spirit of helping each other. And I think all of us have shared. Maureen was saying people were coming to rub her. Yes, people didn't know that she had COVID, but sinaleonto as a people. And I think that's something we can pick up as a lesson from today, that we need to be there for each other ultimately. Even if it's not physically there, we need to be there for each other. People drop off vegetables and whatever at my gate, and I speak to them, you know, at a distance. We take selfies while they are so far away, etc. So, you know, be there for each other. Try to make this journey not a lonely one where you feel like you're really isolating and you actually feel physically isolated, even when you are, you know, mentally, you know, talk to people, have, you know, the support structure is very important. One of our colleagues, I think Umamuzamai, also mentioned that she has a daughter that was cooking for her, you know, so it's great to have, you know, a great support system. And I think generally those are the sort of things that were underlying, coming through, that were common amongst our experiences, that we've experienced this. And I think we know and we can express very well the importance of people following the protocols and making and sharing the tips. I mean, I've had people find it so useful that, you know, I used disposable plates, paper plates, and polystyrene cups for my kids, and they threw away. And that also meant I could rest because I wasn't washing dishes. So those are small things that I feel, you know, if we share a lot, you never know what a difference you're making in someone else's life or in someone else's household. Before I take over the show. Thank you.
Well, it looks like, Madam Speaker, I think Dr. Ntombi must be a regular on this show.
Thank you. I wouldn't mind
Yes,
actually, because I'm passionate
yes.
about.
Okay.
She has learned a lot out of this journey,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
really assisting a lot of people.
Yes. No, what I had done, Madam, in your absence, whilst you were answering KFM, I just asked her to round up the common themes. But let me just do so as well, just quickly, just for a few minutes. Some of the things we have learned, from all the councillors now. The first thing is that there are people who are COVID-19 positive who have no symptoms at all. And therefore, it is important that we take precautions because we never know who is infected and who's not infected. The second one is that the healthcare system, from primary healthcare all the way up, is supposed to be there to help people. Now, there were 1 or 2 cases where somebody went to seek help twice, and the doctor did not have a high index of suspicion about the condition, and that could have delayed that person's diagnosis. In fact, it did, and that might have also caused that person to infect others, because they did not necessarily take precautions. So I think the healthcare system as well, it needs to jack up its service. There was also the issue of stigmatization by the healthcare system. Somebody went, sought help from a primary healthcare worker, and they were not allowed to test for their BP. Yet, with proper precautions, that could have been done safely. So I think there is a need for primary healthcare workers in the city of Joburg clinics to actually understand what their role is and what the precautions that they should take. The role of mental strength, as a key success factor in terms of recovery. Many people here talked about, the importance of that, and not only that, but the role of spirituality. Because one thing about spirituality is that it gives you a sense of hope, it gives you a sense of meaning, it allows you to take that which you can't cope with and pass it on to, the creator, for him, or her, to actually, help you to manage your challenge. The issue of a sleeping position for those people who especially have got pneumonia or respiratory symptoms, we talk about something called proning, that is lying on your tummy, because it then allows, because this pneumonia tends to be at the back and with the fluids at the back. So when you change positions every 2 hours, you lie on your tummy, you lie on your side on the right, you lie on your side on the left. That way it enables, the body, or the lungs to breathe better. The issue of prescription medicines, yes, there's somebody who used prescription meds, prednisone, and there was even some asthma pump on standby. Look, obviously, steroids, they do help. We know from dexamethasone, but it would be nice that people try and talk to their doctors so that when they use meds, they don't use something that could actually cause trouble. But yes, remedies, a lot of people are using immune boosters, which is very good. But when it comes to mhlonyane, we know it's been a remedy that has been useful to deal with a wide range, of viral infections, more than 100 years. But we also need to be careful because there are no dosages that, are known. So some people have landed in hospital because of overdosing mhlonyane with acute kidney failure. So let's have mhlonyane, but let's not overdo it. Let's try, and know that because mhlonyane from Transkei and mhlonyane from KZN and whatever, the strength of the chemical there, the artemisinin, may not be the same, and even the impurities there. So we need to be careful about that. As neighbors come to care for you, they need to be careful because you could also be infecting them, at that point, So once you're suspecting that you might be infected, please be able to tell your neighbors that, there is this, so that they can take precautions. The issue of post-isolation symptoms and signs, many people, once they have come out of the 14 days, still experience symptoms for a longer period, sometimes even months. There's a talk of what we call the long haulers, people who experience symptoms. They are not infectious, but they have the symptoms. And so not everybody stops having symptoms after 14 days. And the issue of age does not equal to death. So that you are over 60 does not necessarily mean you are going to die. It means you have got a higher risk than a younger person, but it's not a definite, you know. And also that you have got pre-existing illnesses is not equal to death, or even the diagnosis itself is not equal to death. In South Africa, less than 2% of people who are infected actually die from COVID. So I thought those are the key points that I picked up from the people. Over to you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. You know, the advantage of having doctors on this platform, now we know that umhlonyane is good, but you don't have to overdose it. You know, some of us, you drink a cup exen emine malanga, especially when because now you want to prevent or you want to get better soon. So you think that now because it's a herb, it won't have side effects. So today we have learned that yes, you take mhlonyane, but you don't overdose because you will be in a risk of your kidney failures. So thank you very much. We are towards the end.
Sorry, Speaker. There's a hand from Councillor Mpefu. Unless
all right. Councillor Mpefu, do you want to Pefumla?
The hand was up a long time ago. What I wanted to stress had already been highlighted, which was the mental strength as well as prayer as well, and support from family and everyone. I got support from residents. I got support from the RD, from Mayor Sorobatse. They prayed for me. They sent me prayers. And I personally believe that it was prayer that got me out of this. That's what I personally believe. I took a lot of medications, but the messages which I was receiving, positive messages I was receiving from my residents, the prayers that they said they were sending out for me, and me thinking and receiving it, accepting it, and believing in it, I think is what actually helped me to get out of COVID. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mpefu. In fact, you've mentioned Mercy Roberts. And Mercy Roberts is here, Doc. She's the name Shelin. The name that says Shelin there. She's a director, council support within the legislature. So she communicates with all the councillors as they are going through this journey on behalf of the city. So we really appreciate. Let me say, Councillor MMC Transport, Nonhlanhla Makhuba. Thank you very much for availing yourself and sharing your journey and your experience on COVID-19. Councillor Dr. Ntombi Khumalo, thank you very much. Councillor Morini Mnisi, Councillor Lerato Mpifo, Councillor Rainet Muabi, Councillor Figile Mtsamai, and all other, the gentleman Pito who called me from Kaya FM. He also says that he's a survivor. He's also one of the survivors. So.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Madam, you're not audible. We can't hear you.
Madam Speaker, we can't hear you, Madam Speaker. Okay, I'm going to call her quickly.
Yeah, please call her, Sipo.
Hello. Yeah? This one. I didn't know, obviously.
Madam Speaker, we can't hear you. And I just tried to call you now, Madam Speaker.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Yes,
Hear you.
My speakers are misbehaving at the end of the show. My speakers are misbehaving at the end of the show. Hey, okay, I wanted to say that it was important for us to have our female leaders on the platform to create awareness and also destigmatize this disease, because I think the main problem here is stigma. Some people are afraid to disclose because they're afraid they will be ostracized. Some people, they have a fear of the unknown. I think having heard from your experiences and the anxiety and how you dealt with anxiety has also helped me as an individual, but also helped our communities. So, and also the fact that anybody can get COVID, anybody can be positive. MMC Makuba said she was indoors. Her gates were locked. She wouldn't open for anybody. But this one day, then she got infected. So, and also that people should take care. They must not feel ashamed. People must talk. But most importantly, what I have taken from this session is that peer group, a support group is very important. So people should create support groups so that you are not alone, even if you are isolated, but you are not alone there dealing with this pain and dealing with this unknown enemy, but you have support group and you share ideas, you share things that you use. And I think support groups for me is very important. And even with the journey HIV and AIDS, there were support groups or peer groups, and those support groups have really assisted. So, and also how to deal with psychological anxiety that is brought about by this disease. But most importantly, Dr. Ndombi raised something very important, that we should not diagnose ourselves, because now we like to do, a bush doctor diagnosis. So bush doctors are not needed here. Don't diagnose yourself. Be certain, go and test. But once you are waiting for your results, isolate and use all the treatments and the medication that our colleagues have spoken about. Ladies, thank you so much, because I won't come back here after Councillor Mfikwe. We really appreciate, and let us work together and help our people to get out of this. Let us work together in making sure that this disease doesn't go any further. We need to make sure that it is managed, and also the spread of this disease is also managed. So let us work together. And especially as women, we are mothers, we are grandmothers, we are backbones of our families. Let us help each other to get out of this. Let us support each other. Thank you so much, ladies. And please enjoy Women's Month. Councillor Mfikwe, can you please close for us? And Doc, thank you so much for your support, Dr. Nyati. This education, it is very important. I wish we can reach out to each and every citizen in the city, because at the end of the day, all of us, we are either infected or affected, because we have families, we have friends. And those who have succumbed to the disease, may their souls rest in peace, and may their families find comfort. Thank you so much. Councillor Mfikwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me acknowledge MMC Makuba, Dr. Nyati, Dr. Ndombi, Councillor Dr. Ndombi, councillors and sisters. This is so appropriate, Madam Speaker, as we are in the middle of Women's Month. COVID-19. So thank you so much. We have learned, we know, we understand that besides anything, having spiritual peace will help us to fight this thing. Dealing with calm, being calm all the time. And I mean, it is such an anxiety-driven illness or pandemic, with all the people that we know, all our friends, families, people that we are close to, having succumbed to the disease. It is so scary that I think some of us even dream being dead, So my understanding and what I'm taking out of the session is that we must take care of ourselves. So thank you so much, Lilibo Osi Barona, that we had to share with us your journeys that are educational, so that all of us deal with the stigma. And the message is still saying, take care, even when you have surpassed the positivity. Still continue taking care of yourself health-wise, still continue taking care of yourself spiritually as well as mentally. So spiritual health and mental health will become the best solution to this challenge. So Banabako Haibo Osi, thank you so much. Let me also thank our viewers, Madam Speaker, on Facebook for always tuning in and suggesting and questioning and assisting us in dealing with the issues. The discussion that Dr. Nyati and Councillor Mpefo had about the mask is always an important one, because it is, you always see people putting the mask under their chins, and then there would be that poster that says, don't put your mask under your chin, you know. So that is important. As we grow in understanding the trends and the faces of this pandemic, we will be able to really grasp and understand behavior that we need to have in handling the mask, even in handling these issues. The talk about Mhlonyane, Madam Speaker, is very important, you know, because then there were so many theories, Dr. Nyati, about it. Don't drink it if you're diabetic, you know, drink it anytime, drink it, but, you know, so now that there is clarity that it is healthy, but do not overuse it. And it is healthy, but don't take it even when you don't show symptoms. For us, becomes one of those lessons that we're taking out of this. Madam Speaker, you're always, you know, on par with issues that are affecting society. Thank you very much. I must also add to your thank yous for Shailene, you know, and I know we really thank her, you know, but she carries all 270 councillors on her shoulders, you know, be it illness, be it death, be it anxiety, be it studies, be it anything. You know, she is always there to serve councillors. So she is one of those service delivery legends that we need to really, really appreciate. Thank you, Shailene. Your patience and your passion for the work that you do and serving and working with councillors is really recognized. Mara uskatinwa lo sign o no we tshware fela netjwale re tlo chika ro kwatele re ntho tse kaofela, but we are always there and always patiently working with us in all the challenges that we have. Our Batong Abutu Arona, you are the only thorn, Dr. Nyati, in this beautiful garden of roses. You know, Sipoli, Dr. Nyati. Thank you so much for always, Dr. Nyati, for being there as well, facilitating and ensuring that we use your platform. Sipo for the background and ensuring that there is connectivity and all the support that you give the speaker. We really appreciate you and appreciate that you continue doing that. I know she's my friend, maybe sometimes not easy to work with, but the love that you have for her, you know, makes us love you too, you know. Thank you so much, Dr. Nyati Nangomso. Councillors, Madam Speaker, saying call us again.
Okay.
So that we share and we guide our constituencies in the work that we're doing. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Keep it up, my sister. I see Toivo and Pili are here as well. They are always giving support. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate the support that you're giving to this office of the speaker. It's a njalo bo mebaka, it's a njalo linelo tswele pele le re rute. And like political causes, Dr. Nyati, this thing each one teach one. It doesn't end. It goes on and on. So I'm asking that let us continue teaching our communities, teaching ourselves on how to behave and how to do some of the things that needs to be done, definitely. With those words, thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to close the session. We are servants of the people. Let us continue. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
So, Speaker, Councillor Ndombi, Dr. Ndombi, the hand is up before you close. I know that it was supposed to be a closure.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
I think I acknowledge that I might be a little out of line, but as
No.
Councillor Mufika was speaking, I really felt an urge, and I think I just want to reiterate, Speaker, that if you can run a session like this again, where we can talk some more. As Councillor Mufiko was speaking, she mentioned that even when you have been through this journey, continue to be careful. And I've been reading a lot of research papers around COVID, and I remember reading one on the 13th of July when I was still in isolation, and thinking to myself, oh, this is fine. If I make it now, that means I don't have to worry about this ever again. And that has now changed, and it's not the case. So just to warn people, to say that the belief that you get it once and then you're fine, you can be careless, or you can try and not be as careful as you were before, is something that we need to be careful of. And I think maybe we didn't really chat about it, but perhaps when we run the next sessions, we can talk about the literature around COVID and how it changes constantly, that what we knew a month ago is completely different in a different case today. For example, on the 13th of July, I read a research paper published that, if you got it, you could be immune for up to 3 months after getting it, so, people can easily still have read that paper, but not have actually come to, the recent research that has come out in line with the fact that, in fact, there's people who actually get reinfected within a month after getting. So I thought that was something very important, especially for people who have gotten it, not to think that they are now safe. I just thought that's an important part. But going forward, when we have discussions, I think we must talk about the evolving literature around this virus and how constantly it is changing. I really do apologize to have to speak after Councillor Mufikwe has done her closing remarks.
No,
but I thought
thank
that was very important.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Khumalo. I think, we are dealing with a new monster here, and we learn every day. Nobody knows it. Even, people who have expertise, they are learning this new monster every day. I agree with you. I think we need to have another session where we'll deal with the literature of this. So you have given us a topic for the next session when we come together. But thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Before Dr. Nyati closes.
Thank you, Speaker.
Before Dr. Nyati closes, I did not acknowledge Ntaga. So look, I cannot not do that. Please, Ntaga, you are a recognized member.
My child, you did not recognize my child.
This is wrong.
It's okay. The whole office of the Speaker, Dr. Nyati, this is Women's Month, so you will have to bear with us.
No.
Sometimes we. Yeah.
For retoots.
Thank you very much. Dr. Nyati, did you want to speak?
No. Like you say, It's Women's Month, so really I must limit what comes out of my mouth.
Okay,
thank you, Dr. Nyati.
Thank you, Dr. Nyati.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night, ladies.
Bye-bye. Good job.
Love you all. Love you all.
Love you, madam.
Love you, Speaker, always.